I never thought I'd be writing about this, but I need to get it off my chest. Everything fell apart 2 weeks ago when I discovered my wife of 5 years had been lying to me. I'm 31, she's 28, and we met at a winter carnival. I was there helping my cousin run his food truck. Not really my scene, but family obligations, you know? I remember that day clearly. I was counting inventory when she walked up to order hot chocolate. She had bright red hair and was wearing this oversized sweater with reindeers on it. We started talking about books when she noticed I had one tucked under the counter. She insisted we exchange favorite quotes, and somehow that turned into exchanging numbers. We were complete opposites. I was the quiet tech guy who preferred staying in, while she loved going out dancing and attending every social event possible. But somehow it worked. She got me to try new things, and I helped her appreciate quiet evenings at home. At least that's what I thought. Things started changing when I got promoted at the software company I work for. More responsibilities meant longer hours, and I couldn't join her for weekend activities as often. I didn't mind that she still went out with her friends. Everyone needs their own social life, right? She'd go to these monthly karaoke nights with her group, and I'd stay home working on projects or playing games online with my friend Zeke. But last Friday, something fell off. My wife's friend Jasmine, who usually posts tons of pictures from their nights out, shared a video where I spotted my wife sitting really close to some guy at their usual karaoke spot. I tried messaging my wife, but she kept giving excuses about bad reception and having a headache. After an hour of getting nowhere and seeing more concerning posts, I decided to drive to the karaoke bar. Maybe I was being paranoid, but I needed to know. The whole drive there, I kept thinking about how we just discussed buying a house together last month. We had plans, a future. When I walked in, I found him in the back corner. She was practically in his lap, and they were kissing. My stomach dropped. Her friend Jasmine saw me first and rushed over to warn her. When my wife noticed me, she pushed the guy away and started claiming I was seeing things. The next few minutes were a blur. She denied everything, said I was being crazy, and eventually had security escort me out when I wouldn't accept her lies. I drove home in silence, while my phone kept buzzing with her messages about how I was overreacting and had trust issues. I packed a bag and went to stay with Zeke. Over the next few days, I learned this guy wasn't just some random person. He was a karaoke host who organized these monthly events. According to other regulars there, they'd been flirting for months. Every girl's night had been an excuse to see him. Zeke convinced me to tell her parents what happened. They'd always treated me like family, more than my own parents sometimes. When I went to their house to explain, they were devastated. They'd been helping her with rent and were planning to pay for her upcoming teaching certification program. They'd had no idea their daughter was capable of this. I spent the next few days moving my things out of our apartment. During one trip, her mom showed up unexpectedly. When my wife tried to spin her usual denials, her mom lost it. She told her she'd lost their support, financial and otherwise. My wife started screaming about how unfair everyone was being, but I just focused on packing while Zeke and my other friend Marcus helped load the truck. That's when things really started falling apart for her. I canceled our joint accounts and moved all my money to a separate bank. I was paying for her phone plan and car insurance too, so I canceled those. We had tickets to upcoming music festivals that she convinced me to buy. I sold those right away. She freaked out when she realized what I'd done. Started calling me nonstop about not being able to pay her bills. I blocked her number, but then she moved to Facebook and Instagram. That's when I saw she was already posting pictures with a karaoke host guy. The same guy she kept insisting was gay and just a friend. I blocked her on all social media. Jasmine tried getting involved, sending me long messages about how I was being cruel by cutting my wife off financially. I blocked her too. Then I went through and removed everyone connected to my wife from my social media. I needed a clean break. I found my own apartment, but everything felt empty. The silence was the worst part. I come home from work and just sit there, thinking about how different everything was from what I'd imagined. A month ago, I was planning to surprise her with a trip for our anniversary. Now I was eating microwave dinners alone and wondering if anything in our relationship had been real. Zeke suggested I join him at the gym to get out of my head. I'd never been much of a workout person, always too busy with coding and video games. But I started going first with him and then on my own. It helped more than I expected. Having something to focus on besides work and my failed marriage made a difference. Her parents kept in touch. They told me they'd completely cut her off, no money for her teaching program, no help with rent, nothing. They said she tried staying with them, but they refused. Last they heard, she was crashing on Jasmine's couch because she couldn't afford rent anywhere. They treated me more like a son than she'd ever treated me like a husband. A mutual friend told me the karaoke host guy dumped her after a few weeks. Apparently, some women from the karaoke bar reported him for harassment, and he got fired. My wife had been just another target for him. She started posting these long rants on social media about how everyone had abandoned her over a misunderstanding and how I turned her family against her with lies. The whole thing made me question everything about our relationship. She used to go to weekend concerts with friends, and I'd always trusted her completely. Now I wonder what really happened during those trips. Was anything she ever told me true? I scheduled some therapy sessions, figuring it would help to talk to someone neutral about everything. My parents visited for a week too, which was nice. Having them around made my new place feel more like a home instead of just somewhere I was hiding. Then yesterday, I got a call from what looked like my therapist's office number. It wasn't them, it was my wife using some kind of fake number to get through to me. She started giving me this whole speech about how sorry she was, claiming she'd only cheated with a karaoke guy and only a few times. Then she had the nerve to blame me for it. Said I didn't give her enough attention, that I played too many video games, that I never wanted to go out. She even said she was embarrassed to be seen with me in public because I didn't care about my appearance. I hung up as soon as she started asking for another chance. I told her parents about the call. They actually laughed and said she'd tried the same thing with them, showed up at their house with her car packed full of stuff, probably hoping to move back in. They didn't even let her through the door, just told her they'd call the police if she came back. From what they could see, it looked like she was living out of her car. Part of me feels bad about that, but then I remember how easily she lied to my face that night at the karaoke bar. How she was posting pictures with that guy while still telling everyone he was gay. How she turned everything around to make herself the victim. Zeke says I need to stop checking up on what's happening with her, and he's right. But it's hard to just turn off 5 years of caring about someone. Some days I feel like I'm doing better, I've got my job, I'm still going to the gym, therapy is helping. Other days I catch myself thinking about our plans for the future, the house we were going to buy, the family we talked about starting. My therapist says it's normal to feel this mix of anger and sadness, to miss the person I thought she was while hating what she actually did. The worst part isn't even the cheating, it's the lying. Making me think I was crazy for suspecting anything. Trying to convince everyone else I was just paranoid and jealous. I know I made the right choice cutting her off completely. She showed exactly who she was when things got tough. Someone who would lie, blame others, and refuse to take responsibility for her own choices. Her parents say she hasn't changed since she was a teenager, always finding ways to make her problem someone else's fault. It's been almost 2 months now. I'm not ready to date or anything close to that, but I'm starting to feel more like myself again. Before her, I was okay being the quiet guy who preferred small groups and staying in. She made me feel like that wasn't good enough, like I needed to change to deserve her. Now I realize I was fine just being me. Yesterday, I finally deleted all our old photos from my phone. It felt like closing a chapter. I still have a lot of healing to do, but at least now I can see a future without her in it. It might not be the future I planned, but maybe that's okay. Sometimes the best things in life come from the plans that fall apart. I don't know what's next, but I know I'll be facing it as myself, not trying to be someone else's version of who I should be. And honestly, that feels like a pretty good place to start. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.